Hello, my beautiful rock stars. It's your girl, Rocqi, your revolutionary hippie from LifeIsRocqi. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Please subscribe and enjoy my journey, my polyamorous journey, my mommy fever playlists, just all the things on my channel. Yes, my poetry by Ashley Raquel. Check out my first published book. Bang. But anyways, I gotta record all this while my daughter's sleeping. She just woke for a feed and went back down, so we'll see how long I got. But we are just coming off of the first ever non-monogamy visibility week. It was just a day last year, and now it was a whole week. Oh my gosh, so excited. So it was 5 days of virtual events across the country, and then in-person events were also happening during the week, but a lot happening on the weekend as well. I went to 6 different virtual events, and then the picnic in Oakland on the weekend. And it was so amazing to be with y'all, like to be in community with my people, you know? Like, how often are you just in a room, a space full of non-monogamous, you know? Like, especially, you know, those of us who aren't in the more sexual-centered lifestyles, so we're not really attending play parties and stuff to be in a room full of non-monogamous. But yeah, for those of us who are polyamorous, or specifically like just polyamorous and not overlapping with some of those other communities, like, yeah, that was my first time just being in a room full of non-monogamous, and it was great. It was like, my people. It felt so good. So yes, definitely need more of that. Visibility, representation, and just space honoring us. So we could just be, you know, it's nice. There's still a lot of shame, stigma, secrecy, silencing, and sometimes it's nice to just be free in who you are and connect with people who are also like you, you know? So that being said, I attended 6 virtual events. The History and Culture on Monday, the 15th. Was it the 15th? Yeah, I believe it was the 15th. And then Identities and Inclusion on the 16th. Are You Out on the 17th. Mass Media Non-Monogamy. And then the Current Research on Consensual Non-Monogamy on the 18th. Maybe I had my days off. Whatever. It was a Thursday. And then Advocacy Roundtable on Friday. And then the Oakland Picnic on Sunday. So I was able to attend all those events. Just to give you some of the breakdown for how many people were showing up, History and Culture had the most by far. It was like 80 people up in there. And then Identities and Inclusion and the Current Research on Consensual Non-Monogamy both had around 40 people in there. And then Are You Out had about 30. And then the Mass Media Non-Monogamy had the least amount. It was like 10. And then the Advocacy Roundtable had about 15. So just to give you some of the numerical breakdowns of who all or how many people were attending this event. But I was definitely slacking because I didn't even realize that I didn't promote this in my Black and Poly spaces. And I was like, oh snap, I've just been promoting this on my individual Life Is Rocqi blog and my YouTube channel and stuff. But no wonder it wasn't that many of us. Like, you know, I didn't promote it. And nobody else was promoting it in the Black and Poly Facebook group. So next year, I definitely have to make sure I am sharing this because a lot of people didn't even know what Non-Monogamy Visibility Week was. I was like, ooh, I'm slacking. So next year, I got y'all. And then also, I was like, how love would it be to just have a panelist of Black people, just Black non-monogamous, saying, hey, we are here. We are here. We exist and we are valid. Yes. So I would love to be able to put that together. Let's see how I do. But that another thing that I also realized was that I think there needs to be awareness of a few different things. One, who's veterans in this game, okay? And what do we need, you know, in those spaces? Who's newbies? We all pretty much know what they need. And then those who are questioning and curious, and those who are monogamous, but just want to know more about this community and culture. And then also ethical and consensual non-monogamy is a big umbrella. How are we navigating the different lifestyles and identities within that umbrella? Like when I went to the Are You Out virtual event, that was hosted by swingers, and that's an entirely different community than I am as a polyamorous. And I was like, ooh, this is a different perspective. I don't know. But some people were in the comments really agitated because they were like they centered it on, I'm not trying to be out. This is what happens if you're outed. This is how you can plan if you're outed. It was coming from a place of, I'm not trying to be out, versus the person in the comments was polyamorous, and they were like, I want to be out loud and proud. And so my baby has stirred. We'll see. Are you going back to sleep? But yeah, so navigating the different communities and how are we facilitating events in respect to those different communities and those perspectives as well. Some just things that I would love to reflect on. Storytelling in media is needed and that representation is needed because it humanizes us. As La Vida Loca Sawyer said, we're not so different. We're humans just like them. We're people in relationships just like them. We're people who have sex just like them. Like, it ain't that crazy. Well, I was actually just watching 50 Shades of Grey, and I was like, this ain't even that. Like, I'm exposed to the kink and BDSM community, so I've seen some on the lack of vanilla side, and I was like, yeah, 50 Shades ain't nothing. I was like, people tripping about this? Well, guess y'all vanilla out here. But anyways, you still have sex, so you still like us. But anyways, so yeah, some of that representation is needed. And I was talking to someone in the Black and Poly group, and they didn't even know that there are people who have experienced discrimination. And I was like, goodness, out of the loop. So I think more needs to be addressed. Like, I feel like there's a large online community, and this was like the first time of bringing us together, seeing each other's faces, seeing some of the advocates and educators' faces, and really I think it's a phenomenal idea to again, this was the first. So to actually get us in spaces where we can talk to each other, like face to face, and it's not so online. Like, there's a huge online presence, and that's helped us connect and figure out ourselves and hit the mainstream media. But I think, yeah, we need to build our community and strengthen it a little bit. Especially since it's global, So yeah, so that part. And then, I think it was Avita, said that monogamy is still seen as morality, which is why there's a lot of shame and stigma on being non-monogamous. And I thought that was an important point to note, because why do we experience discrimination? And it's, that's still the guide on morality. So you're seen as immoral, so that's interesting. And then, I don't know who said this, but they said some of the reactions to coming out is, are you being safe sexually? Are you being safe emotionally? And how does this impact the person that you're telling? So that's what is kind of going through people's minds when you're sharing that. So I already shared my coming out polyamorous story. And my mom, I sent her a CBS News documentary on polyamory, and her first response was, I can never. And I was like, ain't nobody talking about you. So that goes to how does this affect me, basically. So yeah, so that was an interesting point that I think isn't really thought about or talked about within the framework of coming out to other people. So I thought that was an interesting point. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I'm excited. Again, this is just it's just the beginning, y'all. We just getting here. We got a long way to go, but we just getting here. And I'm so excited to be a part of this community, be a part of this journey, be a part of this ride, this movement. That was another thing, it's a movement, y'all. It's a moment in history, and it's a movement. And I love that it's a movement. I was feeling it. So much. I was feeling it. And it is a movement. And one of the, it might have been, I learned of some couple new Black people. And one's name was Kevin Patterson, and he's in Philly. And I believe he wrote a book. Can't remember what it was called, so I'm not going to say that. But he was blackity, and I loved it. But he was saying how, I think it was him. He was saying how with some of the history, I absolutely love the event on history and culture. I think that was an amazing, we need that. We need the history and culture. We need to have some context to again, this movement and where we're coming from. And a lot of newbies don't have that history. They don't do the deep dives into the history and culture to see what they are walking into is established. Okay. But anyways, so he was saying like a lot that we learned from the civil rights movement is activism, that you could be an activist. And that, you know, because that was, you know, 50s and 60s. And then there was the hippies and free love movement and stuff like that. So yeah, I was like, polyamorous activism, what does that look like? And I was talking to my husband about it, and I was like, I think that's definitely my alley, because I am like, he's more passive. If you ask him about his practice of polyamory, of his polyamorous marriage, he'll tell you, but he's not shouting it from the rooftops. Where not only am I shouting it from the rooftops, I'm also willing to educate both the newbies, the questioning, provide life lessons to the vets, and then also to the monogamists who are curious and not interested in practicing, but just like, hey, who are you? You know? So I'm willing to educate everyone, represent, and then destigmatize as well. So, and then show up at city council meetings when it's time to push legislation. Okay. Check out that video. They say my name, Raquel Smartt. Yes, 2 T's. Okay. So excited to be a part of that moment in history. And then our council member who made that legislation is pregnant. She just announced at the Oakland picnic. So happy for her. But yes, yeah, I love that we had this. I definitely think it's needed. Again, we need that space. We need that representation. And we need to come together and figure out, how we're moving forward as a movement. So yes. If you attended any of the events for Non-Monogamy Visibility Week, please let me know your thoughts on all of that I said, and then what you would like to look forward to for next year. What would you like? And again, I would love to set something up. I'm still in the works of what I want to do. It's definitely going to be a virtual event, just because that's easier for me. I still got a 1-year-old, will be then 2. So that's for me. But I would love to get a panel of Black non-monogamous. So I'm thinking Marjanie Lane for education, Evita Loquio Sawyers for some life lessons. And then Dr. Christopher N. Smith was a part of the Advocacy Roundtable. And let me tell y'all, when he was doing his thesis or his dissertation, one of those, at Howard University, he was interviewing about consensual non-monogamy. That was his dissertation. And he interviewed me way back when. Like, mind you, this was the beginning 6 years ago, right? And so now he's a doctor. And I was like, I remember you. Hey. So like, I would love to just have a panelist of Black people. So here's hoping. I still have social anxiety, so networking is a thing. But here's hoping that I reach out, they're able to, and see my vision, and just provide. And we don't even gotta say, hey, we're here, we're Black, we're polyamorous or non-monogamous or whatever. We can just say, hey, here's a Black ass panel. Yes, I love it. I love it. Because that's a lot of the things. It was still very, non-Black, but I'm glad that they had the people that they did. They also had William Winters. He's the president of Open, the Organization for Polyamory and Ethical Non-Monogamy, and the founder of the Bonobo Network. So they had him. They had another woman who I'm not familiar with, and she was a therapist as well. So there's that. But definitely I would love to be able to do something next year. And then also I've been facilitating sister circles. Like, I low-key know some things. So I was taking my notes as I was attending these events. I was like, okay, notes for next time, notes for when I do this. But if you been following my polyamorous journey, and especially on my blog as well, want me to do some things, drop that in the comments below. What do you want me to talk about? Because like I said, there's different factors depending on where you are in your journey, but I definitely think a panel of Black people is needed. But all right, hopefully you had a happy non-monogamy visibility week. And again, whether you are out loud and proud or you are in private, be proud. Because there's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay? Majority of the species on Earth is non-monogamous. And humans are one of them. That's another video. But all right. Take care of you. Light and love.